to the TheGrayZone Roundtable Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. 100% listener supported radio. No corporate ties, corporate duct tape dictating our freedom of speech. It shall remain that way as long as we are supported by you. Join us 347-688-2902. Enter the Gray Zone.
Hey man, what's up? How you doing? Have you ever seen me before?
Nope.
Promise?
Yes.
Cool.
How can I help you?
I just need to file a police report. These people, like, they're living in my house, and I don't know who they are.
Who are you?
My mother named me Christopher.
Okay.
How you doing? Can you go find out who they are?
Why are they living in your house?
I don't know. I think they're trying to defraud me and commit conversion of property, real property.
Okay.
But I already filed a complaint, but I don't know if I need to file one on them, or like if they're associated like with the homeowners or who they are. Like,
Do me a favor. First of all, put that phone down.
No, I'm alright.
Okay.
Just back away from me. I called you guys. I don't want any problem with you, dude. Just if you got a problem with me, I'll stand over here. I'm not putting my phone down. I'm tripping.
Do you have any identification?
Yeah, dude, you guys know who I am.
Do you have any identification, sir?
Why do you need my identification? I called you guys.
I'm asking again. Do you have any identification?
Of course I have identification. You want to see it?
Yes. Here, come here. Come here.
What's up?
First of all, I'm gonna pat you. I'll make sure you got no weapons, dude.
I'm gonna let you do that, but can I pat you down and make sure you don't have any weapons?
No, you know I have a weapon.
Then can you go put it back in the car?
No, I'm not gonna put my weapon.
Why
in
are
the
you
car.
yelling at me?
Because.
Stop, man. Just calm down.
Because you're acting ridiculous. That's why.
I'm not acting ridiculous. I called you guys. Please stop. Can you go find out who they are? He's yelling at me saying he filed a restraining order. Can you ask
Okay, do me a favor. Come over here, man.
I'm not going to do you any favors. I called you. You're a public servant. You work for me.
What's your name?
My mother named me Christopher.
Christopher what?
I'm suing all your bosses, dude.
For what?
Don't for me, dude. I'm suing all your
Christopher
bosses. I'm suing all your bosses. And you'll be next.
Are you gonna cooperate?
And your
with
wife.
me or what?
I know you know who I am. You look familiar.
I don't know you, man.
From
I've
West
never
Valley
met you
Jail?
before.
Unit 8.
Okay, so who are you?
I know who you are.
Are you gonna cooperate or not?
Is that your same badge number?
Are you going
Can
to
I
cooperate
just get your
with me or
number?
not?
I'm just asking you to go get their name and their numbers.
Are you going to cooperate
Who are they?
with me or not?
What do you want from me?
I asked you for your information.
I told you who I am. You guys all know. I called you guys an hour ago. Why are you making a big stink? Why you got a flashlight in my face? Go over there and ask them. They're burglars in my house. They got Christmas lights up on my house? You got Christmas lights up on my house? You guys have Thanksgiving dinner at my house? No. Go find out who they are. Go.
And welcome. This is Rectify. You are listening to the Gray Zone at Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. And that was Christopher of the Fleming family, the one and the only. And we have an exclusive with Christopher tonight. He has actually just got out of jail. He was arrested at that point for false charges, and he's here to speak with us. So welcome. This is January 21st on the East Coast. We're still on January 20th for another hour for me on the West Coast. And yeah, welcome. All the good people out there in Revolution Radio. But Christopher, are you with me? It looks like we're having some problems. I can't hear Christopher. We're going to get him online, though.
Dude, I was on mute. Can you hear me now?
There he is.
Yeah, my bad. How's it going, dude? Can everyone hear me? You coming through clear?
Yeah, you sound all right, man. You just stay close to the mic, and yeah, we'll get through this. And yeah, let everybody know. I mean, you are Christopher of the Fleming family. Why do you call yourself that name in that fashion? First off.
Well, that's like just to create a separation between me and the legal fiction Christopher Fleming, which is like a legal person or a legal entity, U.S. citizen or a state citizen. It's to create a separation between. Can you hear me now? All right, cool. It's to create a separation between myself and the legal fiction or a corporation or anything that could be perceivably governed or controlled or put under jurisdiction of these public servants who are supposedly supposed to be working for us. And it's not like I'm trying to be like, I know when you hear me, it's like, dang, why is he so short with these cops? But this is like a long drawn. I actually didn't get arrested that day. There's like another full video I uploaded, but yeah. It's crazy. The cops screw with me. I'm actually released, and I'm not really supposed to go into and discuss a lot of the maybe certain aspects of what had happened. But yeah. So I've been in the hole on discipline for the last 44 days, and false charges got basically alleged against me, and it's all basically public. If anyone just went to SBC Open Access on Google or Duck Hunter, whatever you guys check out alternative search engines. I know that there's a lot of paranoia and conspiracy going on this website. So, yeah, for the most part, if you just check out all the stuff that's public, and I just don't want to get into it, you know? So I know it's a round table. I haven't been around for a while, and it's cool to be out. And you don't really appreciate, you know, getting out and seeing the sun. And I hear a lot of people like complaining and talking about how there's chemtrails or the end of the world could come next week and the government's going to blow us up. And maybe that's why I never really have an opportunity to come on or talk about anything. Or I choose not to, really. And I choose not to talk to people. And it's kind of become bad. Whereas the people like us do need to come out who are doing things and aren't just sitting around listening to radio talk shows or watching YouTube videos and being conspiracy theorists, actually going out and taking some of this knowledge that we've acquired and putting it to use and standing out there and being the one who's getting targeted. And, you know, everyone talks about how the government's after them because they're posting things online about conspiracy theories and they've never done anything in their entire life. So there are people out there who are taking action and who are doing things. Not a whole lot of us, but the ones who do it do get targeted and, you know, sitting in jail for felony charges and threatened with 3 years, but you can go home today if you just sign this deal, is basically like what you're looking at. And that was like the worst one of all because I'm a sovereign citizen and domestic terrorist threat. And it's insane how, because I understand and I know the Constitution, somehow I'm the bad guy, you know?
But I heard also when you're in jail, you teach a lot of people a lot of this data and help them actually get themselves out of jail, you know, by teaching them the truth around the lies that are told within the color of law, within the maritime law system. So is that true? You help a lot of people when you're inside?
Yeah. Well, you know, what's really hurts me, like personally, is that I take it almost personal when you see, you know, 18-year-old kids or gang members who are, you know, maybe got caught up in the wrong mix and now they're looking at, oh, if you don't sign this deal, then you're going to be going to prison for 7 years. And I think that once someone's sitting in jail and they have that hanging over their head, that, you know, this 19-year-old kid, even though like they may be like gang related or maybe they maybe have this like grew up in this bad environment in the area, that they still, I don't know, I have hope in humanity and people. And
amen to that, man. You can't kick down someone for trying to bring information to their psyche that not only helps them get away from the snakes out there, but also informs them how to protect themselves in the future.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you know, when you're sitting in jail and all your freedoms or your life and your liberty's been taken from you, then all of a sudden, these are the people who actually care about standing up and fighting for their freedom. So it's so... it gets me fired up because then I'm passionate about the law. I love learning about the law. I actually, I work with Coast Law Office. It's a law office that does consumer protection law. I regularly take phone calls. I get like 100, 300 phone calls a week, and I try to get them all grouped together over the week on Thursdays. So like Monday through Thursdays, like my cell phone's always open. If you guys check out my YouTube videos and stuff, you guys all know.
What's the biggest questions that you get asked when you're at work at this law place from customers?
I don't really deal directly with the clients, but it's not really work for me. Like I don't like working. I couldn't say like, oh, I work. But using a lot of the stuff that I learned just from like the guys with What Lies in Your Debt, how to just assault them, the debt collectors, with the federal laws that are there to protect consumers. So I mean, like there's just a lot of stuff that's out there that people don't even know, and it's so much fun. Like once you start learning about it, like how it's not really like, oh, they're trying to keep us down, or, oh, they're doing this. I mean, I'm sure, of course, if you want to create this whole thing where there's a they and they're all after you, it's like, yeah, but what are you going to do about it? So, you claim to know that they're doing this, and then you still don't take any action. You're still just sitting like everyone else and just complaining about it, like trying to go wake up everyone else. So it's like what I've done is I've just started educating thousands of people, anyone who calls me, hey, check out this. So it's like, if you do something, then when you've done this, then you call me when you have the next step, and then we'll do this together, and then I'll make sure that this goes through for you, and then I can send them motions, or then it's at least we're speaking the same language. You know, it's like when I send the guys into court, and I tell them, I want everyone to repeat after me. You know, I talked to a tank full of guys who are sitting in orange and handcuffs going into court and having no idea that, hey, did you know you have the right to remain silent? You know that you had the right to remain silent at the time. They have to have a warrant describing the person, places, and things to be seized. Did they have a warrant to come in and search your car? Did they ask for permission to search you? Did they tell you you were being detained? It's like there's a lot of things that people don't even know, and just they almost count on you not knowing. So it's like, it's not really like, you know you don't know, and you choose to watch Dancing with the Stars or episodes of South Park or...
I don't like to bring up the Bible, but it's like what God said. He said the lack of knowledge is what my children die from.
Yeah, I agree.
So, how many days did you do on this latest stint? I believe you were incarcerated over 10 different times last year in 2013. How long did you do on this last stint for these false charges?
I think we're at like 26 times in 4 years. So like I'm a regular, like all the cops know me. Right when I got in, they tackled me and goes, I don't care if you put me on YouTube, Fleming, I'll bite your effing face. So it's like, that's the kind of greeting I get when I get, and then they put me right in the back in Unit 5 with all the guys who are on discipline.
They told you they'll bite your face?
Yeah, the deputy tackled me and told me, I don't care if you put me on YouTube, Fleming. So it's like, and then when I'm trying to get them to sign my grievances, it's like, good luck. And I'm sitting there talking to the deputy, he's like, hey, the First Amendment guarantees me the right to file a petition, to file a grievance. And he goes, the First Amendment does not say. It's like, yes, it does, man. You're supposed to be, you're wearing a sheriff's deputy uniform. The sheriff hired you. You're deputy. So you should at least know the law. Like, you guys sit here and know penal codes. You ask them what the penal code or the vehicle code is, for not wearing your seatbelt, and they'll be able to recite it to you word for word, but they don't know the law. The law is the Constitution. You can't change it. It's not going to go around it. Miranda killed and raped a woman. Everyone knows he did it. Okay? But why do the cops have to sit there and read you your Miranda rights? Because Ernesto Miranda was never told, hey, just so you know, you have the right to remain silent. And you have the right to have counsel present during questioning. Because you have the right to not incriminate yourself. And it's not because we say you have the right. No, I'm sorry. We are all supposedly created equal, right? Or they like to program us to teach us that, everyone knows that we're not all equal. There's going to be some amongst us who have the ears to hear and the eyes to see. And I don't know. Am I talking too much? Go ahead. So I just think that the whole system is basically based on people just listening and following, and they just need someone to follow. So it's like, I don't mind standing up. It was like, before this show started, there was someone who came on, and he was saying that just along that idea where, no one ever speaks out, and people are afraid to talk. And, he was in the hospital in an elevator and was, telling the nurse, hey, you might want to take your cell phone out of your boob because you might get breast cancer, And it's just someone standing up saying, hey guys, just if you look at my eyes and look at my mouth right now when I speak, okay, this is going to make perfect sense to you, and you might go home today, as long as you're here for drug charges or gun charges, okay? It's your constitutionally protected right to do what you want and be able to put what you want in your body and have it and carry a gun. You guys are gang members. You guys live in freaking dangerous areas. You don't have to.
Isn't the LAPD considered the largest gang in the country?
I mean, by who? But listen, these people put their lives on the line every day to protect you and be able to make sure that you have the freedom to do what you want to be able to do. Some of these people who are in jail are not good people. And trust me, I've been around them, and I know. So, you're not going to get any sympathy out of me, but it's just like, I'm different. I'm sovereign. I'm not a U.S. citizen, so just leave me alone. If you want to treat all the slaves like that, or if you want to put them all on the pins and not give them their diet, under Title 15, I'm guaranteed to at least have a certain minimal diet. You're not going to put me in a cell by myself, beat me up, not give me any medical attention after you beat me up, or take any video footage. It's just like, they just get away with so much because it's just me, and there's no support system. See what I'm saying? Whereas if it's everyone, then they can't get away with it. Like, there's an incident that happened where an FBI agent had gone into a county jail, and I guess that he had started reporting about it. This is just recently. I'm sure you heard about this, right?
No, I haven't. Go ahead and expound on that.
Well, it's like a big talk in the county jail right now because I was in San Bernardino County, but in Los Angeles County where I did most of my in and out stints, that's how I was able to make it in and out of jail so many times in the past couple of years, like 24 times in the last 4 years. It's not like an over exaggeration, literally in and out. And the way that you do that is like I tell these guys, you guys are sitting here waving time, and that's one of their major ploys. Can you hear me? Cool. Yeah. So one of their major ploys is to get you to go in there and waive time. And you don't know your rights. You don't have the right to have a speedy 45-day trial, or someone gets in there. Every time there's an argument at your house, if someone calls the cops and there's an argument and it's between a male and a female, someone's going to jail. That's the rule in California because Simpson killed his wife, and we have to bring people in. So it's just like, and then it turns into this whole prosecution against husband versus wife. And if she doesn't show up and testify against you, then it's just like these guys don't know that, hey, you have the right to a preliminary hearing. You have the right to have, be innocent and face your accuser or your confronter and have their present and have witnesses present to call on your behalf. My girlfriend's pregnant and she's going crazy and she called the cops and she scratched her face and she said, I did it. And it's like, what do you do? It's like, should I sign for a strike and do 3 years? Is that a good deal? No, man. No.
What do you do?
I just tell them, listen, there's no corpus delicti. There's no injured party. Your wife's not going to come into court. She changed her mind. She's already coming to visit you every single day. She's sending you letters of her and the kid. Like, come on. Like, you've been in jail 4 months already. You don't know you have the right to a speedy preliminary hearing?
Well, if it's a domestic violence charge, isn't it true that the prosecutor takes the charge into his own hands and the two parties don't even have a choice?
In California, that's what they do. Yeah. And they say like it's an exception to the hearsay rule, where they have the officer come into court and say basically, hey, the DA says, well, the wife's not going to come in and testify against you. So now you got this guy sitting in jail for 45 days until he goes to trial. And most of the time they don't. As soon as they come at you with an offer to go home for credit for time served, everyone just signs the deal. Oh, misdemeanor, okay, go home. They were offering me misdemeanor credit for time served, go home 3 weeks ago. But it's just like, that's the reason why I always have to stay in jail to prove a point. It's like that someone isn't just going to go along with your stupid system and just sign your deals. I don't mind. You guys want to put me in the cage and sell myself? Good. I'll create an army out of all the ones who are undisciplined. All the disciplined inmates? Good. These are the lowest failures of society, right? And just teach them, give them knowledge. You'd be surprised. Like, there's a lot of people who just don't belong in there. And there's a point I went to mass with my parents yesterday. They're Catholic. And he said that, Jesus was crucified on the cross next to two criminals. And one of them was the good criminal and the other one was the bad criminal. And at that time, that was like a very profound image for people. And it's almost like people have almost forgotten really what it means. I'm not Christian, of course, but I don't know. It's just like you have to sacrifice. Without sacrifice, there could be nothing. So I don't really see a whole lot of people doing anything. I'm afraid for the next generation of kids who come, and these youngsters, like, they look up to me because I'm in charge and I'm able to see, and I've been to prison, so I know how the whole system runs, and I can run a pod, and it's not something to like be proud of, and I've been in jail this many times, but really, when you're going for the kind of stuff I'm going for, I don't have a problem with it,
Yeah, and you do step up. You've definitely sacrificed a lot of your time and energy to prove a point of truth. And sacrifice is something that a lot of people don't do. Most people these days would rather put their head in the sand and put their butt in the air as a target, rather than go and fight for the good cause. But yeah, over 20 times in jail in the last year and a half. That's some fighting, bro. I got to tip my hat for you. That's hardcore right there. But what do you think is gonna bring us all together? It's got to just be truth, right? That's why we do this Revolution Radio thing. Is to try to get the information out so we collectively can battle all the falsehoods and the lies that is embedded within color of law and maritime law. Can you go into the color of law and maritime law a little?
Yeah, I can go into it, but along the lines of what you're talking about, it's not going to ever be that these topics are ever understood by the masses. Most of these guys just want to be entertained, who listen to late night radio talk. All due respect to everyone who's listening, but for the most part, everyone who listens to this kind of radio isn't ever going to actually really ever get up and actually do anything or take any initiative. It's like people it's a small minority of people that I'm trying to reach. Really, it only matters like what Hitler said, give me the children. That's all that matters. Is like, I don't really care about anyone down-liking or putting thumbs down on my videos or making fun of me or mocking me when I go to court, like the cops and the judges. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. I don't care. Like, I'm not here for any of you or to try to impress any of you or to make up. It's like, I don't care about that. All that matters is that the next generation who comes, and we need to look out for the children, because the children are the next generation. If we raise them with this kind of like I completely agree with what the caller was saying before about how we a one world order, and we've almost like been programmed to reject this. And that there's going to be this satanistic one world. Yeah, good, bring it. So do what thou wilt should be the whole of the law, and we don't need to be governed. And it's going to be people individually wanting to govern themselves and not be controlled that are going to be just like me, just get pissed off and snap. And just say, you know what, I don't care about my life or having kids or about having my freedom anymore. If I can't have freedom, if I can't live free, then screw it. I'm going to go in and break your system. Someone's going to destroy it. It's like the Tower of Babel. It's like it's almost come to a pinnacle, and it makes me sick.
Of all the millions of people out there that have lost their homes, I mean, with no blue ink signature mortgage contracts that could be even presented, and these people, they're good people. They don't even know that's the case, the bottom line, if they wanted to represent themselves in court. What do you say to people out there that are in a mortgage crisis right now?
There's a couple different things you can do, but mortgage crises are normally it's like the last straw. Like, you're not making payments on any of your stuff. Probably you're behind on all your credit cards and stuff too, so like a strategic foreclosure would be the best way to go. Those guys at What Lies in Your Debt teach really solid.
Those guys broadcast here at Revolution Radio. What Lies in Your Debt? You can find their show. It's an early morning during the week. You can check our schedule out at freedomslips.com. I do not have it off the top of my head right now. But yeah, those guys know what they're talking about. And we have a couple other really, really informative people that speak about the sovereignty movement and all this paperwork. I call it paperwork garble. They call us paperwork terrorists. What do you have to say about paperwork terrorists?
That's like one of the major allegations in my felony complaint, that I'm the number 2 domestic terrorist threat in America today, and that we're violent somehow. And I don't know, I really don't like to be grouped up with any group, so I try not to say I'm a sovereign or anything like that, but I am sovereign. I govern myself. I don't need to be governed or controlled. I can pretty much, I don't cause injuries to the public.
Anybody out there that wants to come and join us and talk to a sovereign, this is a round table. We throw the mic around. You can ask any questions you want. You can bring any thoughts to the table you want. Our number here is 347-688-2902. Again, 347-688-2902. We are speaking with Christopher of the Fleming family. This is Rectify. Like I said, you can bring any thought you want. This is the Gray Zone Roundtable. But we are speaking of the abuses done by the judicial system upon the people, and the resistance factor within people like Christopher that step up and actually they fight the injustices within the judicial system that we supposedly still have.
It is a justice system. I got justice, man. I got several judgments before I got arrested. So, I mean, people say that, it's all just paper terrorism or it's just putting stuff on paper, but ultimately it's not. It's like has an old concept of, that's why I'm a Thelemite. Thelema means will. So it's like the will and testament. We all look to say is there a last will? So it's like you're creating your living will. And by putting it into paper, there's a legal maxim that says an injury not expressed cannot be addressed. So if you're not expressing injuries, then you're never going to have them addressed to be able to seek any remedy or relief for those injuries. So it's they're really basic, simple concepts that are anyone can use, And
you got to push a pen though, which many people barely remember how to do anymore. It's kind of like teaching a 10-year-old what a record is, a vinyl record.
Why would you want to teach a 10-year-old what a vinyl record is, though? You see what I'm saying? So it's if the 10-year-old's interested in learning about the vinyl record, then I'll show him. Every man and woman's a star. it's not my job to go and tell people what their will is. If your will is to sit on the couch or live in a trailer and fucking grow farm seeds, then go for it, you know? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you got to be careful there with the language, Christopher. I'm going to give one warning only. Otherwise, I'll have to drop you, which would be unfortunate. We are now FCC monitored. We broadcast on 4 terrestrial FM broadcast stations, including Seattle, Kentucky, and Germany. So, hello, Deutschland. But we are also on live365.com. We're blowing up here at the station. We got to be really careful with our language, buddy. We've been incarcerated for a while, so I'll let you slide on that one.
My bad. I apologize. Can you hear me? Mic's really bad. You can hear me? Can you hear me?
We lose Chris. Let's try to bring him back. Well, we seem to have lost Christopher of the Fleming family. It might be by design. He did drop the bomb. I apologize for that, everybody out there listening. It's my luck. It seems to always happen to me on my show. Yeah, the devil's in the details, right?
Hey, you can't hear me right now?
So we're moving on. I'm going to try to grab him back. What I'm going to do is do a little half an hour, a couple short clips of music that, me and my buddies have produced. And we'll get right back to you in a couple minutes. So stay tuned. And we're back, and I think we've got Christopher back on the air with us. Welcome to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. This is your host, Rectify. You're listening to the Gray Zone Roundtable. Give us a call. Join us, 347-688-2902. 347-688-2902. Or if you have Skype, you can Skype us at Freedom Screen. Or my personal Skype, which is not embarrassing. A lot of people think it's kind of crazy, but it's AskJack666. That's ASSJACK 666. And that's a whole story of its own. But Chris, we got you back. You might be muted, Chris. Check to see if you're muted.
Am I muted? I'm not muted. Can't hear me?
Nope. All right, so we don't have Chris back. So I'm going to be moving on here. We're going to check out some news. It's the best I can do. I don't have anybody with me. So we'll get to some news. We got popular cereals found to contain low levels of toxic heavy metals. Oh, well, we got Red Shifty with us. Let's not get to the news. Hey, Shifty, how you doing?
I've forgotten to mute the radio, but I think I got it.
All right. Yeah, how you doing, girl? It's been a while.
I know, especially for a Monday. I made it.
You got to get away from that subwoofer, though, because I'm buzzing. Well, welcome. Happy Monday.
How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, we should be good to go now.
Fantastic. So that's Christopher.
Yeah, it's been a while. He's been in the hole.
Well, yeah, along with a couple million people.
For victimless crimes. Yeah, I'm still hearing myself a little, Shifty.
All right.
I hate to be an audiophile, but I am. I'm really anal when it comes to that stuff. I sound good now. I don't hear myself, so yeah, right on.
Okay.
Yeah, Christopher, his mic seemed to have failed. Trying to get him back on. Trying to multitask right now. I mean, as you know, I produce my own show, so I've got him on the phone. I'm multitasking the show. I'm trying to keep the airwaves flowing, and thank God you called me.
Well, you know, I figured you needed somebody back you up a little bit. He didn't seem to have that great of a connection.
Right. Thank you. So how's your day going?
It's going. I mean, it's going. It's still going.
You still freezing your butts off over there? And
no, man. I actually, we've been burning things, and we got 220 now. Mike hooked up both sides of the power, so we are no longer running off of just one side of the mainline power. We've got 220. So we can run the compressor now. But, so what are you guys talking about? I mean, what had he been in jail for this most recent?
He's a targeted individual. He's
Aren't we all?
Well, I guess to a certain extent we are, but he really pushes the bar. I mean, literally pushes the bar. What is that, the British Association of what have you-ness? I don't know exactly what it is, but everybody that's informed should know that the Bar Association is owned by the Queen. It's run by the Queen. So there's no real representation here in the American public by what we think lawyers from the Bar Association is. We have Christopher back on the phone line now. Chris, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We were talking, can you explain a little about what the Bar Association is and who that benefits and who controls that?
It's not like who controls it. It's just, okay, like I work with a bunch of lawyers. So they're not all bad and they're not all controlled, but it's like they operate under the business and professional codes of California. That's why no matter where you're a lawyer, you have to get licensed in that state to be a lawyer because the laws in that state may be different than others. Like, so it's not like they're all bad. It's just that there's a step. That's why, like, it's like me when people call me and ask me what they can do with their stuff, and then they want to talk to me about UFOs and aliens. Like, listen, my time's really valuable. Like, stick to the point. And that's kind of like the issue with lawyers. Like, they just don't like to sit around and talk to sheeple about, you know, Dallas or, you know, whoever's playing in the football playoffs this year.
And who is playing in the Super Bowl this year? I think it's the Broncos and Seattle, right? I don't know how I know this, but you know, just being on the airwaves, I hear stuff. I don't watch football myself or any sports anymore. In case
Yeah, I
I'm
haven't
still
had
getting
TV.
some feedback.
I haven't had TV or a phone, and it's a hassle getting paper and stamps for the last 45 days. So, and
What's
newspapers.
the importance in paper and stamps? Tell me about the power of the Postmaster General.
Well, basically, like, they know not to mess with them. The only thing they don't mess with in jail is it's impossible to get a grievance form. Oh, good luck trying to get a grievance form. But you can always use the mail, and they know not to mess with the feds because that's all federal. So they don't mess with the federal. I'm trying to mail stuff out. They never really give me a hard time about anything like that. So, and money in postage is like money in jail. It's like, oh, I got stamps. It's like, oh, you got money, you know. So as long as you got envelopes and paper, then I can do all the legal work I want. And I was basically the only inmate in black box handcuffs, you know, like discipline going to civil court. So all the other inmates are in there going to criminal court, and I'm going to civil court, and I'm freaking a millionaire in freaking discipline cell, you know? So it's kind of like, the irony of it is kind of crazy, but there's still, like, my main point is that not all the cops are bad. And some of them know what's up, and some of them actually care and uphold their oaths, and some of them don't. And it's our job to take those people out of positions of power. And you do that by, like, you know, I was hearing someone talking about Rand Paul in the last show. And it's like the only reason why these politicians' hands are tied is because these are their constituents. If there was people who were writing them every day saying, hey, why are you passing this? Why are you getting up there? Why do you have this? It's like, if you keep on voting for this, then I'm going to do this. If they're getting thousands of those letters, then they can get up there in Congress and they can read the letters that they're getting from their constituents. They can read the letters that you're putting out there. But unless there's an injury that's been expressed, then we can get on, like, you think that they tune in to Revolution Radio when they get off work and they get home from Congress? Like, they're not listening to Revolution Radio. But if maybe everyone from Revolution Radio wrote a simple letter to their congressman, and like maybe got a little upset, like how I did, how did I go get the mansion? How did I get all this money? Like, how do I figure all this out? Because I got upset and I petitioned my government for redress of grievances. Hey, you guys stole all the gold. I want my freaking gold back. What am I supposed to do?
We had a congressman actually on a show the other day on Revolution Radio. So to say that people within the judicial and the legislative don't listen to the show is not exactly true, my friend.
Okay, maybe they don't listen, bro, but they're not going to walk into Congress and say, well, I heard on Revolution Radio last night, you know, they need to have something in writing from the people, you know? And the manure idea is great. That's taking action. Hey, let's go cover up all the freeways in D.C. with manure and then just start gardening on it. That'll prove a point. This peaceful protest right there. Do something. But don't just sit and listen and think that things are going to change, you know, or talk and think that things are going to change. Like, yes, it will, but dude, you have to take action. Like, you know, I think it was you, brilliant. You know, nothing happens until something moves.
Right. Here's a question
I
from the chat room, Christopher. Art Underground asks, Christopher, do you have a driver's or any other form of license?
Okay, Christopher Fleming has one, but Christopher, the Fleming family, like, I just travel. So the cops basically, like, they don't screw me over the traveling issue anymore at all. Like, they all know that Christopher Fleming's license is suspended, but I don't drive. So I'm not a licensed driver. Like, the house is sovereign, allodial, fee simple, diplomatic embassy. So, like, I'm not a U.S. citizen. Like, I'm not under the jurisdiction unless there's a victim. Like, I'm only liable unless someone's going to come to court and point at me and say, that guy right there in the orange and the white T-shirt, he harmed me because he was doing over 40 miles an hour, because he was driving without a license, or because he didn't have insurance, or because if there's an injury, great. As long as there's someone who's going to come to court and point and say, look, there's an injury, I'm injured, I've been harmed. Then what? There's corpus delicti. Say it with me. Everyone say it with me. Corpus delicti. Okay, that's
Corpus
Latin.
delicti, that's the body of the crime, correct?
Yes. Every officer is trained on those two words, and we should all know that. Okay, now there's essential elements of corpus delicti that have to be proved. Okay, if you walk in, you catch me, you know, sleeping with your old lady, you pull out a gun and shoot me and her dead. Okay, you're looking at 5 years max. Why? Because it's a crime of passion. In the heat of the moment, you pulled out a gun and shot us. Okay, now if you walk out, oh, I thought we were friends, and how dare you do this to me, and you leave, you go down to Walmart and buy a 12 gauge in 15 rounds and wait till I leave and follow me home and blow my head off and bury me in the desert. Now you're looking at 25 years, okay, because it's called the menace reis. Now we have the actus reis, which is the wrongful act, and then the menace reis, which is the mind of criminal.
Isn't one of them premeditation and the other one is a crime of passion?
Cold-blooded murder or what? Crime of passion. Yeah, see, because you're not thinking in your rational mind. There's different types of the brain. It's all studied by doctors, but one of them is called the reptilian brain, where you just act, and you're thinking like fight or flight. You know, the blood pumps to your hips or to your shoulders, so you can fight or you can run. So I just choose to fight. You know, I'm not really down for running, but because then you're gonna have to fight them another day. So just get it over with. Even if you get your butt, even if you get, you know.
I got a question for you that everyone is curious about. Have you ever been tased before?
No. I wish, that's a very good claim. I wish. But a lot of these cops are actually really respectful when you know your rights. They're actually scared of you. When you really know who they are and you know who you are, know thyself, when you really, really know who you are and who they are, then the power, it's like,
I know I always hammer on you for this when you're on the air with me, brother, but we're getting asked to have you slow down your talking a bit. I know it's against your flow and all, but if you could, just for information purposes, try to slow down a little bit so we can all absorb what you're teaching us.
I'm not teaching. We're just hanging out.
Right on. Well, whatever you want to.
Round table. Yeah, if anyone's got any questions, they can call in and ask. But
347-688-2902. We're here with the Fleming family and Red Shifty. Shifty, you got any questions for Christopher? And she's muted now. Awesome.
And I know Travesty. I don't know whatever happened with Travesty. We were working on a bunch of stuff that I was working on with him. If he's not busy, it'd be great to hear from him. I don't know my cell phone. What happened is normally my phone's available, so if you guys want to call, I'll probably have my phone back next week. I'm not really supposed to be talking about everything. I don't know what I can talk about, what I can't talk about, because I'm specifically court ordered not to publicly talk about certain topics, but that's all within public information. You can go look that up. Like I said, it's on SBC Open Access, and you can just Google search for Christopher Fleming as a defendant or as in civil or criminal. You can check out all the criminal cases and the lawsuits I've been winning. I just won a $25,000 lawsuit against a debt collector for they called my phone 16 times. So I got that just sitting there, and I've been
you could sue debt collectors for calling you.
Oh yeah, easy.
Get on that a little bit. I'm curious on that one.
Oh man, it's a lot of fun. You can set them up so that what you do is you call and you pull your credit reports. This is what I teach everyone how to do. Monday through Thursday, you guys just call, and I normally switch you guys up. So sometimes the calls are on Thursdays or sometimes they're on Wednesdays. But I do criminal stuff on Wednesdays and I do civil stuff on Thursdays. But basically, and if you're in foreclosure, you guys can call anytime. If anyone's in an emergency foreclosure and you guys are about to be kicked out, I always help you guys out with that. It's no problem at all. But as long as people are doing the work, I'm not can you write the motion for me? It's no, I'm too busy. But you can Google that and figure it out on your own for the most part. I'm not into holding hands. Cool. So real quick, if I could just finish my thought, because then I'll get sidetracked. The easy thing to do is just put the debt in dispute, and then when you do put it in dispute, put your contact name and phone number, and make sure that you put this is my cell phone number, and it's for emergency contacts only. And then they send that and forward it on to debt collectors, and then in an attempt to collect the debt after you've disputed it with, TransUnion, Equifax, or Experian, the three major credit reporting agencies in America today, which are required to provide you with a copy of your free credit report annually every 12 months. So when you send them that information, they forward it on to debt collectors, and now they're forwarding them your cell phone, and they could try to call you in an attempt to collect the debt that you've just placed in dispute. So when they do that, it's a willful violation of the TCPA, which is the Telemarketing Communications Protections Act. So when they do that, the first one is $500. But if they continue to call your cell phone after that, it's $1,500 per call. All you have to do is answer the call so that it shows on your phone record, say, there was a 1-minute charge to my call or a 5-minute connection fee. As long as you can show the court you have damages. Hey, look, I don't know who these people are. They're calling my phone. They've caused damages by me having to be billed for these minutes that they're calling me. See what I'm saying? There has to be some kind of injury. But so I don't want to take it up, but I know someone just called in. So
yeah, we've been joined by Mr. Steve Travesty. How you doing, Steve?
Hey, how's it going, Rectify? Shifty? Christopher, I've missed you. How are you?
Fantastic, bro. How you been?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I feel great.
What happened with your traffic case, dude?
Yeah, dude, it was, it's been wild and interesting. Now, I'm gonna tell you, and,
cool.
Don't feel too disappointed, and I accept responsibility for all my actions. As time was going by, and I didn't know what happened with you, and I couldn't hear back from you, and I was looking at how things were unfolding, by the time of my last court action, the last hearing that occurred, I decided to try something different. And what it effectively where I was at was after the motions hearing I did for discovery and jury trial. I was denied the jury trial after the prosecutor, for the first time ever, actually objected to me withholding my rights. Because I would do the line, just like you taught me, every single time I now enter these proceedings with a full reservation of my natural, unalienable, legal rights remaining intact. Are there any objections? And the prosecutor objected. And I said, on what grounds? And he said, on grounds that when I call your name, I'm bringing you into this jurisdiction. And I said, but I am not Stephen Travesty. And then I was interrupted and was not able
Then I would just leave. I would just leave. And
Well,
it's fine,
here-
because they're going to put,
here's-
do you have the right to a fair
here's-
hearing? Do you have the right to a fair hearing? Would be my next question before the judge. Your Honor, do I have the right to a fair hearing? You know what I'm saying? Maybe something like that.
Hey.
Do you guys respect and uphold the International Bill of Rights and the International Bill of Human Rights? And then questions like that, get that on the record. And then, Your Honor, do you have an oath of office? Your Honor, do you have an oath of office? I'd like to see that. And then the district attorney, same question. Do you have an oath of office? Can I please see your oath of office? And would you put that on the public record so that you can get him saying that, hey, when he took his oath of office, he raised his right hand. He swore to uphold the laws of the state of Connecticut and the laws of the United States. So therefore, by objecting to you reserving those rights, that would be like.
Oh no, I can't hear Chris. Anybody else hear him? Hello?
Chris, we lose you? You there? All right, there he is.
So, yeah, are you there? I can't tell if you're talking or if the system got cut off or whatever.
Christopher, are you there?
No, we're plugging in the cell phone.
Oh, there we go. We got him.
Cool. Yeah, I was going to die, I guess.
So what I did after that was, because I was still in the process of various things because of the whole appeal procedure, I submitted the fee waiver form after finally getting the proper information about what I have to do, filling it out right. Because the first time I did it, I did it wrong and I sent it up to the court, and I didn't realize that there was supposed to be a whole hearing thing that I did. And when I submitted to the court, I told the clerk specifically, I told him, I cannot stress enough that I am requesting someone other than Judge White to fee waiver, because this fee waiver is involving an appeal on rulings that he himself has made. And he said, I'll see what I can do. And then I called him a couple days before the hearing, and I asked him about how it goes. So, there's another judge also there that day, and I think we should be able to get you on there. So I show up at the hearing, and it's Judge White. When the legal fiction name is called, Judge White is still sitting on the bench. And so I went with something else that I learned from another friend just recently. So instead of going with your line about reserving the unalienable rights, I said this. I said, I am the witness to the name fraud being perpetrated here, and I have the prima facie evidence of that fraud in my hand. On and for the record, is it now your intent to entice me into slavery?
And that fraud in your hand was your birth certificate, right?
Correct. I had a copy of my certificate of live birth from the town of Greenwich, which has my first name and my middle name in lowercase and my last name in uppercase, because you are not allowed to own your family name, which is why you are of the Fleming family or of the Travesty family, etc., and is the proper way to address yourself in the lawful name. And the prosecutor said yes, on the record, in the courthouse. I said, I object. I am not a slave. Then Judge White responded and said that my motion was denied because I was failing to address the motion. At that point, I about-faced and I left the courtroom, and that was it.
Hey, you were there to argue the motion and not the name.
Hold that thought, Chris. We'll be right back. We're going to break. You're listening to The Gray Zone, Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. Revolution Radio. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host. Welcome to the TheGrayZone Roundtable, Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. 100% listener-supported radio. No corporate ties, corporate duct tape dictating our freedom of speech. It shall remain that way as long as we are supported by you. Join us, 347-688-2902. Enter the Gray Zone.
Revolution-radio.com.
And we're back, and that's right, we are 100% listener-supported here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. This is Rectify. You are listening to the TheGrayZone Roundtable. Please visit our site, join our chat room even, freedomslips.com or revolution-radio.com. Click on the yellow site support button. That's the only way that this station runs. Got to pay for electricity and bandwidth. None of the hosts here get paid. We're all volunteers, and we love what we do. That's why we do it. We're currently joined by a favorite caller of this show, Christopher of the Fleming family.
Yo.
How you doing, brother? And Steve Travesty. How you doing, sir?
I'm all right.
And also Red Shifty. Are you still with us? She might just be lurking. But we're speaking about the injustices within the justice system. So talk about an irony, a flip side there. But most people out there with eyes to see know that our justice system is for just us, not them. Oh, wait, other way around. It's for just them, not us. So, hey, Chris, I believe you were cut off at the break. Go ahead and grab the mic, man, and free your mind.
Oh, I don't know. I forget what I'm talking about.
You were just about to go into an analysis of my situation at my motions hearing after I had revealed to the court that the prosecutor was trying to enslave me.
Okay, you were going not for a motions hearing, you were going for a hearing for a fee waiver or something, I think you said.
Right. It was being heard on the general docket with motions, yes.
So the issue would have been whether the court was going to waive the fees for the legal fiction or the person. A real man can't show up for court. So when you're trying to go into the admiralty courts and you're saying you're a real man, they never recognize it. Like they always tell me I have to be the Mr. Fleming because I have to be the legal entity. And only like lawyers, or if you're going to represent yourself, then you're going to be representing the person. You have to have like a power of attorney normally, or some kind of paperwork saying that you're there for them, or
correct.
You know, if you're going to walk in and say, "Yeah, that's me."
Mm-hmm.
But like in our courts in California, like they take your fingerprint for felony. So like some real man is coming in there and authorizing to be representing or saying that they are the name, or so on and so forth. But by you showing up and appearing at the court hearings, you are waiving any fees or defects in service of process, or even any jurisdictional issues. You could be going in there and basically like waiving it. And then if you have a Christian name, which would be the last name, then you're automatically like under the jurisdiction of the court, because it's all basically, in my opinion, and from all my research and understanding, these courts are like almost like Christian courts. And that's why there was like such a big separation between like with the Moors saying that, you know, we're going to have our courts and the Christian courts and the Christian this and the Moors and the Muslims. So it's like there's going to be this, you have to separate yourself from the church and from the name is kind of what I've come to. And that's kind of like what every Masonic or secret society like kind of teaches the same thing. So it's kind of like dying and then rebirth.
Yeah. I mean, I've been told that like one thing that you that you may want to do, for instance, you know, when you're at the side of the road with the policy enforcers, when they're asking for your name, for the sake of removing presumption, you can say, "Are you looking for the legal name or the lawful name?"
Yeah, that goes over all their heads. Some of these guys are just stupid. You know what I mean, Travesty?
Right.
Stupid as stupid does, and I mean. When they pull you over on the side of the road and you're telling them things like that, they're knowing like, hey, this isn't the target. Like this guy, you probably weren't even doing anything wrong in the first place. So like, I mean, I got a video on in my YouTube channel, and it's when I was going to criminal court, and I'm sitting and waiting to go talk to the judge. And when I come, it's like a big circus. But when I'm sitting there talking to the sheriff, he's like, you know, if I pulled you over. And I was like, well, if you pulled me over, I wouldn't pull over. I called 911 and I asked for a supervisor. You know, like, why are you pulling me over in the first place? What's the emergency? Is there a killer in my trunk? You know, I always use that example. Is there a murder in my trunk? Did you get a call? What's the emergency? Like, why is the guy got his red lights on? Is there like an immediate threat to my life? What is it? What's going on? Is there something I don't know about?
I heard to give this advice. Whenever an officer is doing a felony, which is going code 3 behind you for an infraction, where there's no corpus delicti, which means they throw their lights and siren on, even if they just hit the whale siren for a second. That's actually committing a felony. I heard what you're supposed to ask that officer is, what is the emergency and how can I assist?
Well, yeah, but then they're going to say, yeah, you can assist me by submitting to everything I ask you to do, which is going to give the state money because I'm an agent of the state. That's what they're going to say.
That's an offer. That sounds like an offer to contract. And I don't mind contracting, you know what I mean, Steve? The problem with me is that I know that you're a public servant and you have to have a badge, a business card, and photo identification. So you have to have all 3 forms of ID if you want to contract with me in the state of California, and especially if you're a public servant or operating under a color of law. So therefore, like, that's cool if you want to contract with me, if you're making me an offer to contract, but, you know, there's a legal maxim of law that says you ought to know with whom you deal. And I don't really know who you are. I've never seen you before. You're just dressed up in this costume you probably could have bought or stolen from your cousin-in-law, or, you know, who got it and knows who. I know there's a lot of instances, like there was one in Texas where some lady got pulled over and she was being fondled by the police. So why the hell would I just trust you and blindly submit to authority? You know, Albert Einstein said that unthinking respect for authority is the greatest enemy of truth, sir. So I'm not just going to be able to perform for you unless you can perform for me. So let me see 3 forms of ID. It's just like throw everything right back at them. So you ask me a question, and then you tell them what that is. It's not a question, it's an offer. And you're trying to contradict the answer.
Call that quid pro quo.
Hey, you know how I get down? You see my video? Remember that? Remember? So it's like, I act like that with these cops, and it stops them dead in their track. They know they're dealing with someone different, with someone who knows their rights. All of a sudden, it's like you're a trained, like, sharpened axe and tool. And I can convey the ideas to people so quickly. Bam. It's like, especially the cops.
For all the listeners out there that want to check out your work, Chris, Chris does videotape and document almost all his transgressions with the authority figures. You can check out his YouTube. Go ahead and plug your YouTube.
YouTube.com/youngster SGV. Youngster. Because when I went to prison, that was my name. They all called me Youngster. I was like only 18.
So that's
actually,
Youngster SGV, as in San Gabriel Valley.
Yeah, San Gabriel Valley. But what? Because when you're in jail, like, or you're in prison, it's like your handle, and then what area you're from. So, like, if you're from the IE, the Inland Empire, then you're a IE car. Or if you're from LA, then the LA car, you know? But I'm SGV for San Gabriel Valley. So, like, Pomona, Diamond Bar. But, anyway, check us out. My point is that anyone can basically get away with, not get away, but that's why everyone says, like, oh, you're getting away without paying taxes, or, oh, you're getting away with, you know, stealing this house. Listen, I didn't steal anything. I haven't gotten away with anything. I'm just asserting rights that I know that I have. He who doesn't have any rights, know his rights, doesn't have any. I know my rights, the basic rights that most people have, and then I know other rights that people don't even care about or even think about. So whether you know Article 1, Section 10 of the United States Constitution says that the no state shall enter into treaty, alliance, confederation, grant letters of marque, proposal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin and tender and payments of debts, make any ex post law facto or law impairing the obligations of contract or grant any titles of nobility. Like, whether that just went over all your heads, whether I should have to sit there and explain to people for, you know, inmates for a long time. It's like sometimes some people can just get that and they hear it and they go, oh, wow, it just clicks. Money is gold or silver coin, or, oh, they can't impair the obligations of contracts. So you can create contracts to do whatever you like. You have the First Amendment right to what? Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, the right of the people to peacefully assemble and petition their government for redress of grievances. If you don't know that you have that right, they'll arrest you on the street for public disturbance and marching and harassing the public. And you'll be the one who signs the deal and gets off on probation, and I'll be the one who walks out free of nothing. Sorry, going too fast?
Yeah, you go a little fast. The chat room's noticing.
Hey, Chris. We've talked before in the past about bringing things up because you told me to look into it, research it, make it a part of my paperwork. United States Code at times is something that you want to cite. Especially because of things of how they fall into place with the penal code, when you're going to be going forward and making prosecution against.
What a name, right? Penal code.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, yeah, it's the Whore of Babylon, right?
The obelisk code.
The obelisk, of course. So where does the United States Code come into play in the process of exerting your rights?
Okay, the United States Code is not just about exerting your rights, but it's, from my understanding, it's like the code book for how government is supposed to operate. Like, okay, like we all acknowledge the people. We all said, hey, we need a system of government that's going to be there to, you know, provide for our basic security and uphold and write and dictate the laws that are going to be created, but they're all by us. It's always by and for the people. That's where all the authority comes from, is that we gave it to them, right? That they're doing all this in our name. So that's why it's like we always are upholding these people to higher standards. We allow the cops to have guns and tasers. Why? Because they are held to a higher standard. They're not just going to go crazy and go psychotic and beat people up at the first chance that they have. I mean, it means that, hey, you're held to a higher standard. Or you're not just going to go and create these laws and pass taxes just because you can. You're held to a higher standard, to a higher calling, for the betterness of, you know, Michigan or Detroit or wherever these local or state or federal representatives are who are supposedly representing the common people's interest. Which, for the most part, I don't want to say like they are all bad. Like, really, and when they're doing it, it's people who really believe in what they're doing. Just as much as anyone here believes in what you're doing, and the truth of what you're doing, and maybe what they're doing is evil. In their minds, really, like in my mind, like I've always thought it was so evil, we have to stand up and fight against it. But I mean, everything.
That's kind of like paying taxes and not knowing that money's going to murder innocent people, right? Type of
allegation. I mean, we all know that they're going in there. But here's the thing: like, there's gonna be, but we're trying to like create this fulfillment of the prophecies, so that we can end this age that all the Christians are basically waiting for, and we can pick the Muslims and the Christians off against each other, and then just have them.
What's the new worship, the new religion going to be? Is it going to be Gaia itself, Mother Earth?
Man, there's no part of me that is not of the gods.
What was that again? What was the answer to the question? Man?
I'm not really supposed to talk about it, but hey, look, here's the thing. Is that ultimately it's all going to become a one world government, and everyone is going to ultimately mix, and that's why all the borders are opening up. It's going to become a brown pudding pool,
right.
And like, you know, the only people who aren't breeding with other people are who, you know. So who. Anyways, hey, the owl is the wisest of all the birds. Yeah, he's a predator. He's a predator. Why? And it's like a silence at night, and then tonight's Monday, so it's like the moon deceptive, like the tarot card, you know, with the moon. So everything's like by the light. And then, anyways, it's cool that you guys do these midnight hours. So, anyways, and then nobody can believe half the stuff, anyways. And hopefully they're not going to come try to use this out and say, "Oh, Chris posted publicly." But yeah, like I haven't really discussed anything we're not supposed to. And the point is that as long as people are like, it's like you can get mad about it and be like, oh, they're using the system against people. Really, they're not. And it's like, Travis, like, you've learned in so much just by going and fighting this traffic ticket. When the cops pull you over for the next traffic ticket, you think that they're going to want to deal with it, bro?
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
they're done messing with you. It's just a big test to see what you're going to do. And the other thing is you don't file a fee waiver in the court that you were trying to file a writ of mandate on. You go to the federal court in your local jurisdiction. So go online and go Google federal courts, and then call a federal court and say, hey, I'm over here in Greencrest County. Can you tell me where would be the localest federal court that I can go file a Section 1983 federal civil rights lawsuit? Because that's what they're called. And we can even file those from jail. I just put in a request slip for Section 1983 or a writ of habeas corpus, and they have to come and bring it. So those are the only things. What?
How you say, the cops, it's just a test and they're going to leave you alone after. That's kind of how I see the events that took place on 9/11, 2001 was. It was a test for the people of society to see whether or not they could be tricked into the next level of manipulation, I guess you could say. So the cops, they come, they pull you over, you know your rights, you step up, right? They leave you alone. The American people, we got ployed by 9/11. Not many stepped up, and so they took more of our rights away. That's kind of the point I'm trying to make.
I don't know. The point I'm trying to make is that when I get pulled over, sometimes I'll pull my camera out, and the cops don't give me a hard time at all. Or they'll give me a business card, and then I'll just crumple it up, and I'll throw it on the side of the freeway when I drive away. There's instances that I've had that I don't ever talk about. I never post online because I don't even sit there and brag and make this cop who's honorable and upheld my rights become a hero, or like, look what I can do. It's about me bragging and proving a point to anyone. The only thing is that I post is when they act stupid. When you violate my rights, then I have to sit there and post it. You think I want to make this cop like the one who tackled me and told me that he's gonna bite my face, Deputy Alcala? I'm not gonna make a video about you, bro. You're not that important. I have way more other things going on. And people call me and try to get me to go down conspiracies and reasons why, the pit of because. The Book of Law talks about the pit of because. They shall fall into the pit of because. And be he damned there is for a dog. And that's where people stay. For 1,000 reasons they will say, because this, I can't do this because this, or because that. And literally, that's not will. That's just lazy people. And everyone has to have some kind of drive to do something. And then you say, oh, I want to, but then I can't. That's where you fall into it. And I don't know, I'm just really proud of you. Not that you just heard me, but I remember you only heard me for 6 weeks, and then bam, you went and did it. You got pulled over by the cops, and you gave them a hard time, and you went in there, and the DA knew who you were, and they called your name last. And you feel the pressure. You know when they're screwing with you, right?
Yeah.
It's fun though.
It got, things just got better. It took a while, but it really helped me internally shift the core of who I am into a person who knows who I am. And, it's just it's one of those things where it's part of the sick kind of thing as we look at it as, because we're all here on this planet for a reason. I believe we all choose to incarnate here. And, if one of the reasons that I was meant to incarnate here was to experience this traffic ticket after coming to know Christopher and being a part of all of this, because, whether I am, served an injustice of sorts, when it's all said and done or not, I've learned everything. I've grown tenfold. And that is something that on the metaphysical level, I have to thank my enemy. And that's, and I'm just making a statement of attitude. I don't know if that is.
I do too. I do too. And I have to tell you, dude, that the only one who they really don't care about is you see what I'm saying? They do this to everyone, and it's just so that everyone becomes scared. And it's what do you do when you're afraid? Do you cower down? Do you get weak? Do you get afraid? When you know that the DA is the only reason why they're in there is to screw with you, if you're having a hearing against them, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's you're the one guy. You're the statistic. So it's my paperwork is this guy's a domestic terrorist. He's a paper terrorist. He's a number 2 threat to the FBI. Dude, they made my paperwork look like I was. Dude, they had me go to court.
Hey, at least you're not a Christian. That would, top the list. That's the enemy too.
Dude, I was celled with Christians doing the banishment ritual in the freaking cell, dude, and none of them had a problem with me. So it's I don't have a problem with Christians. We bow at every altar. Masons will go and tell you the same thing. They'll go in there, and I'm the same way. Whereas I'll go to the mosques and I'll bow and I'll pray with the mosques, and the same way as the Muslims will. And then I'll go to the, Christian mass, like I said, Catholic mass with my parents, and I know I study world religions. It's just like a fantasy for me. I love that kind of stuff. But and the other thing is that when you're in jail, you just put in a simple request slip, and I can't get simple religious books. But the Christians, they run and bring them a Christian Bible, and they get the little pocket version, and the Christians come run and see them and pull them out for Catholic Church and Christian Church. But I'm in the cell with myself. I can't even get the Bornless One ritual.
You should start suing hotels.
Oh, they're all getting sued for that kind of stuff. And then the medical stuff's going on, because right now in California, there's so many people who are in jail that the feds are about to come in April and start kicking everyone out. And it's so crazy how, dude, there's people in jail. I hate to even say this because I hope this guy doesn't do it, but it's like this guy kept on asking to see medical because he's like, I'm going to commit suicide. They're supposed to take them out of the cell and put them in a cell by themselves, like immediately. And the sergeant came up the day before that and told me that he's going to put me in an ISO cell. And all I do is just sit in jail and do paperwork. I showed R3 all the paperwork I got right here, and it's like I literally made 123 pages of 3-copied motion. So it was like 37 pages of motion. And I wrote that, just sitting in jail. I didn't cause any problems. I just sit there, and they're threatening me, and then they won't sign grievances, and then they won't give me my medical attention after they beat me up. My face is all swollen. They won't come and take a picture of it. Nothing. Like, I got beat up 7 times. So these cops just keep on, and it was the cops, because I'm suing them. I'm suing the district attorney.
Did they just come into your cell and bum rush you, a bunch of them, or what? How does this go down?
I come back from court the other day. I was doing the banishment ritual at dusk, and it was like really short. And I only do I only do it towards the direction of the sun, because we do prayers at dawn, noon, dusk, and midnight. So when I would do my ritual, like I would be black boxed, because I would be going to court. And they wake you up at 4 o'clock in the morning, so the sunrise is at like 6, but I'm in the black box in the cell with myself. Even though all the other inmates, like I'm all getting transported on the bus with them to court, they would leave me in a black box. And a black box is like, if you take your hands and put them like one over your belly button and the other one over your solar plex in between your chest and in between your pecs, and then face them towards each other like that. And it's like, that's how close your hands are together. And they put the handcuffs on you, and they put a black box over the handcuffs. So you can't pick the locks, and you're just stuck like that. And they chain it to your stomach.
So this is like this is the next step from that lockdown chair that they used to use for people in the hole. Is this something new?
Yeah, I don't know. No, they started doing it. I don't know why they do the black box.
Explain it again. I want to hear more about what this black box restraint system is.
Dude. It's a torture device that they use to get you to sign a deal, or if you're a problem inmate. They call you PIM, problem inmate status. So that's why they put me in the back in Unit 5 with all the other, problem inmates. I don't want to talk about jail.
Right.
There's so many TV shows about this stuff, dude. Who cares? It's just the point is that when you become a problem, they're like, get that fool, put him in the freaking cell by himself. Don't let anyone listen to what he's talking about. Don't let him teach corpus delicti. Don't let him teach you that you have the right to face your accuser. Don't let him teach you that you have the right to go to court and subpoena witnesses on your own behalf. Hell no. Don't let him do that. Put him in a cell by himself. Make him look like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, when you say torture, when you say torture device,
that's the
black box thing, does it cause pain or just discomfort, or explain it again? What is it again?
Okay. If everyone just does this with me, you'll understand what I'm saying. Take one hand and put it over your belly button. Okay? And then put the other one over your chest in between your pecs, over your solar plex. Okay? And face both your elbows towards each other. And then imagine a cop coming and putting handcuffs on you like that with your hands towards each other. Okay? And then getting a little black box that's smaller than a soda can and putting it between the handcuffs. And then locking the black box. So that you can't move your hands. They put it as tight as they can, and then they handcuff you around your stomach, and then they have like a belt they put around your stomach of chains, and they handcuff the black box to the chains, and then they put another chain down to your feet, and then they handcuff both of your feet, and they march you around when you're undisciplined. Only when you're undisciplined, only if you're disciplined. Otherwise, you get to watch NFL. Okay, but the problem is that I don't want to watch NFL. I don't care about the phones. I don't care about that. I want to go to the back with all the guys who are in control of the jail, because they all know who I am. I've already been there so many times. As soon as I get back, I can run it. And then
are you welcomed when you're in jail? Everybody's like, "Hey, Chris is back." Like, "Yo, what up?" Like, my dog type of deal, or?
Dude, I just take over the tank with my mind.
All right, so you run the gig basically. You just use your knowledge and start teaching,
Yes.
and then everybody's
No,
respect.
but I also know prison politics. Like, you can't. There's certain rules. Like, there's races. You know, there's the white race, the Mexican race, and the black race, and we're all at war. Anytime it could break out, because cops always keep it like that. They make sure that we always stay fighting, so that we never stop and rise up and fight them. And then they also control your diet. They only feed you a little bit of food, so that you can't.
What kind of food do you guys get fed?
Crap, dude. Crap. Horrible food. Horrible. But it's the way that you live, dude. You just get used to it. But you have to work out every day. You have a mandatory workout. The homies do like 113 burpees, and the white boys do 123. And then you got to freaking sit there and watch other people, dude. It sucks. So I'm telling you, it's not fun governing people, dude. You don't have to do it. It's not fun. What do you do when you have a guy who's sitting there so drugged out, he's pooping and peeing on himself, kicking heroin? He's like, dude, you have to change your sheets. It's like, no, dude, you need to roll up your stuff and go tell the police you need to get out of here, dude, because we're not going to babysit you. We can't, dude. What do you do? And I'm too busy. I'm trying to file paperwork, dude. And I got to babysit people who are pooping and peeing on themselves, and having other racists come and telling me that, hey, why does this guy's bed smell like shit? It's like crap all day long.
You gotta watch, yeah. But dude, these people, are they coming down off drugs? Is that the reason why they're urinating and defecating on themselves?
Yeah, or drugs, or psych meds, or just maybe kicking alcohol or heroin. I mean,
So they don't give you any supplementation for that type of come down when you go
no,
into.
dude, not until you file a medical request. I swear, dude.
It's all paperwork. It's all paperwork, isn't it?
Everything's just a big joke, dude. It's evil. It's a bad system, dude. And there's good people stuck in there. But, dude, there's bad people in there, too. But, dude, even the bad people don't deserve to be treated that way. And it's too full that why should we be taking care of? Dude, people are getting medical treatment who don't even deserve it, dude. And it's like there's people on the street who, like, have legitimate, serious medical health issues, and they aren't getting the treatment these freaking criminals are getting. And it's just crazy.
And they're all privatized. All these prisons, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, these are all private, on the stock market. People actually put their money into these bonds for these stocks and bonds for these prisons that are putting people into hell, basically, on earth for not harming anybody at all. And that's got to stop.
Only a few people. So what? Only a few people. And the ones who deserve to be there are the ones pretty much who deserve to be there. But then, when there's someone like me who comes through, you guys need to know who I am. And leave me alone. Otherwise, I will come out here and do these stupid shows.
Would you say...
It won't be at 3 o'clock in the morning on Revolution Radio. Okay, I'll call the freaking media and I'll tell them everything about the IRS.
The freaking media is us. Okay, we're the new freaking media.
Yeah, dude, we could put this on MSNBC if we wanted to.
They've mentioned it. Check this out. Would you say that you've developed a sort of Stockholm syndrome, which is the loving of your enemies just to justify their actions?
No, dude, I just believe that the masses need to be controlled. I don't want people driving stupid on the freeway or on the highways. If I'm going through a green light, I want to know that there's not any other cars coming the other way. If there's someone recklessly driving, you don't think that we should have police out there stopping this and protecting us from that? I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, all cops are bad, dude. I get beat up by stupid cops all the time, but you know what? I still have decent, honorable men and women who swear to uphold the Constitution, who sign my grievance forms, and still go and take the reports. And sergeants come up and take the issue seriously and investigate it. Not this time, but the time when I was in jail last time, there's a lot of good sergeants. There's a lot of Deputy Perez was really cool with me this time. Like some of the deputies in there are real cool, and a lot of them are Masons. So basically, there's members of our order is gone underground so that they can never come and kill us. In 1307, the Pope tried to come and wipe out the order, and that's it. It's never going to go underground.
All the Freemasons that I've met in my life have been very honorable men, very giving men. They care about, their neighborhoods, their society. They do a lot of charity work.
Not all lodges are networked in the same respect, and that's and that's why there are certain lodges, like the Scottish Rite Lodge that's in Washington D.C. That's the big freaking concrete temple. Like that's one of the controller lodges. That's one you have to worry about. But an average Freemason, especially if they're like below a certain degree, they're not going to be, they are good and honorable men. I've met one or two of them myself, and they're good people. I have very fond memories of things we've done together, at jobs or something like that. And here's another interesting tidbit because you want to talk about aspects of religion and justice and all that stuff. In our Constitution, the very first things it says is that we establish justice. Well, and then you want to talk about the concept that was being brought up earlier about how the courts, how Chris said that his lawyers were saying that it's kind of like a Christian court. Well, it's like a Christian court in the sense that it's like a Catholic court. And that's going back to the Roman Empire, which based their pantheon, and it was pagan, on the Greek pantheon. And there was Lady Justice, or Justitia, Lustitia, in Latin. And it's an allegorical personification of the moral force in judicial systems. So literally, we've unfortunately got a contradiction within the Constitution in which it establishes justice without realizing that it's establishing a religion, while at the same time advocating that in the First Amendment that we shall not respect the establishment of a religion. So that's creating a contradiction within the
No, it doesn't say that in the First Amendment.
What's that?
Respect the establishment of religion.
You're saying it doesn't say? Hold on, I got it right here on my desk. Let me grab.
I'm pretty sure it just says the freedom of religion, freedom of the press.
It says specific. Congress shall make no law respecting establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. The very first phrase in the line.
Nice. Okay, got it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
where does the separation of church and state lie? It was rumored that does not even lie in our Constitution.
That is it, right? That is the concept as a term was coined in a letter by Thomas Jefferson to a church in Connecticut. I forget which church it was. I think it was some Baptist church in Connecticut. And you see, in this country we kind of tertiarily refer to things like the Federalist Papers and the various statesman works of people like our founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, so on and so forth, as things that express what the spirit of the Constitution is. Although it is not the law, it is the written word of the founders, thus it is the intent of the law.
Well, the law is written by God, and that is just the backing and the reiteration of God's law.
Well, that's what the founders are trying to say within the context of the Constitution, is that they believe that they got God's law very close to right. But
that's like it's like the Republican view, like that God wrote the Constitution. It's like, no, this is like natural rights that everyone's always known that we've had, and the founding fathers were anything but Christian. I think there was only like one of them, right?
Something to that effect. Thomas Jefferson wrote some sort of a non-religious Bible or some weird, like there's some Bible of Thomas Jefferson that exists, which is some sort of almost a secular Bible, like based on the quote-unquote Christian Bible. And these things are it's a little off topic of talking about the law and the ways that it concretely helps you, but it's good to get into review of understanding the history, I feel.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's like Friday the 13th too. Another thing where no one really understands what's going on with, and that's the day where the Pope went and tried to wipe out the Templars. That's like where a lot of this stuff was carried on, like it's the Gnosis. And there's a concept too where there's a wandering bishops. And I think all that stuff's fascinating. I mean, maybe people have never heard of it, and this is a perfect forum for it, right? So there's a wandering bishops myth where, you know, that's why 3 bishops have to lay their hand upon the next bishop and ask that the lightning from God be transferred into the new bishop, and why there is no higher rank than the bishop. The bishops choose between bishops of who's going to be the next pope, and that's the way that it works. I mean, they all decide, and they, you know, put the smoke up, and then everyone knows there's going to be a new pope. And the pope is the man who is basically carrying all the sins for the world, and who is assuming the role of Jesus Christ on earth for the Christians or for the Catholic Church, mostly. Right?
How do you feel about Pope Francis, the new guy?
I'll tell you. So, like, the Pope's basically the one who's carrying all the crosses and carrying the cross for all of humanity at this time and all the sins that they're doing. So it's why they attempt to run and regulate these codes and rules and penal code this and tax code this to make sure that we're regulating people and that they're not going out and spending, or that they're not going out and, you know, living some crazy freedom life. They don't deserve freedom. They're not deserve freedom, but you don't, not that you don't deserve freedom, but just that everyone deserves to do what thou wilt. But it's like, how do you get people to want to have, like, there's violent revolutions in countries that they overthrow, just like what's going on in Syria. Like, we're going to go in and send in CIA agents in there. I'm not going to go in there and fight a bloody war on the floor like they're programming all these kids on all the video games. It's going to be a CIA war. You know what I'm saying? Where the CIA goes in there and overthrows the government by telling them, hey, you know, don't you guys want a better freedom? And to their own people, talking to them, sitting there and getting and pumping everyone up.
It's agent provocateurism. I mean, it's sending in an agent to actually do the dirty work, but make it look like it's the locals that are doing the dirty work, so everybody gets stirred up.
But this is for the good. When I was a little boy, Iraq and Afghanistan didn't have constitutions, and now they do. And they put their own guy on trial and had them sit there and have to answer up questions. Hey, is it true that you went and took this, you know, 15-year-old girl out of this guy's house and made her work as a sex slave at your mansion or your palace? And he had to sit there and answer questions like that. And then, did you kill this guy and chop off his son's hand? And did you shoot this guy in the leg 4 times and try to kill him? And I mean, how many questions and how much evidence was presented? He had a fair trial, and now they have a constitution that they have the right to have a fair trial and be presented with evidence and have witnesses testify on their behalf. Did he call any witnesses? No. So, I mean, maybe, I don't know. I just believe in one world, and I believe in one earth, and I believe in one womb, and I believe in the serpent.
Oh, I totally agree. It needs to be the people's new world order, though. We got to make sure that it's formed in a fashion that is full of open-ended democracy, as we call it these days. But we need to be free to have this new world order worldwide. We can't let the politicians control our new world order. That's just got to stop, because they're not needed anymore. And we've been joined by a caller, 336. How you doing?
Hey, what's up? It's Brian.
Hey, Brian. What's on your mind?
Real quick. I'm at work right now, but I'm getting off within like a half an hour. Please tell me your show is going to go beyond another 15, 20 minutes.
Hey, that's Big Boss Man's decision and my guest's decision. Christopher, would you like to keep entertaining us for another hour? And Big Boss Man, would that be all right?
Oh, I'd love to talk to Christopher Fleming too, by the way.
You know, it's the big thing is the schedule. So let's take a look here.
All right, we'll figure that out for you, Brian. What's on your mind though? While you have a break, go ahead and get in there.
Oh, I'm not on break. I'm in the bathroom, man. I'm trying to talk to you.
TMI.
No, not. I'm technically in the bathroom, not on the bathroom. You know what I mean? I'm in the bathroom.
Right.
I'm just trying to get a free second. So. To be honest, my phone's been acting so funky lately. It's hard to listen to you guys even through TuneIn, but I think it's because of my service. But yeah, I just kind of tuned in here in the last 15 minutes or so. But yeah, I'd love to talk to Christopher of the Fleming family.
You
if I could.
Got a quick question for Chris while you're on?
I don't, man. I'm sorry, I don't. I really don't.
Okay.
I was just trying to make sure your show's going to go on longer so I could think of some questions.
Well, flip a coin. We'll find out. We don't know. It depends on what kind of response we get in the chat room. And
well, here's the thing: it's the best of Art Bell is what's on next. If that's what's if that's going to play, that's what's going to play. I can throw I can throw the suggestion at Nighthawk if he hasn't gone to bed yet, and odds are he has. Because I'm not going to override what's automated without his permission.
I think we're actually going to cut it off at the top of the hour, Brian. I'm sorry about that, but you'll find our archive up at the Gray Zone. That's spelled with an A, all one word, at YouTube. So,
What happened to Live 365?
We're on it.
I thought we were on Live 365. No, we're going to replay RSL, huh?
We are live 365 right now.
No, I know, but I mean, it's not exactly live with Art Bell, you know what I mean? I mean, it's live if we were on the air. So, that's my only qualm.
all right, buddy. Well, hey, man, catch us, the Gray Zone, all one word, with an A for Gray, at YouTube. But we'll catch you later. Thanks for calling in.
No problem, man. I'm sorry I couldn't work out. Y'all take care. Have a great night.
Have a good night, man. Christopher, you still with us? Chris, check 1 2.
His phone's still there. There he is.
There you are.
What's up?
Well, okay, a question for you. I want to become a sovereign individual. What's my first step?
All right. First, if you want to be sovereign, you got to govern yourself. So you don't even know who you are really. So it's like you got to go on like a path. It's like I don't know if you want to do it, man. It's been nothing but a nightmare. I mean, ask R3. I'm on his couch right now, and my life's I've been pretty beat up, and it's just I don't want to talk.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah. Rectify. What was that? What happened?
Oh, we've been joined by another caller. That's our caller doorbell. That's 856 is on the line. How you doing?
Good, yes, Jared again. I called earlier. I was hearing talk about the New World Order and everything, and I'd agree that it sounds great, like a one world order, but under the system we're under, there's no way it's going to be free for humanity. The power structure is all instead it's like a turnkey dictatorship. We're ready for total, and if there's no wars between country and country, it's going to be a war on the soul, a war on the family, war on freedom. And I'm not sure. Do you guys ever listen to Red Ice Radio? I'm not sure if that's, but I check them out every once in a while, and I can't remember the name of the guy, but he was studying under the Rosicrucian, the archives, and he came across this prophecy that he said a revived or reincarnated. I don't think they used the word reincarnated, but another Akhenaten was going to bring in or reinstate the order or something like that. And I don't know if you guys,
right.
Obama.
Akhenaten was the first one to ever say that he was God, and when they started wiping out all of the other deities, so you could glorify himself, right? The one. Well,
and
I can tell you what we believe if you listen.
Go ahead, Steve.
I was going to say, Akhenaten is pretty much the first recorded theist establisher with Atanism. That's all.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Like the Obama being reincarnated Akhenaten, that they actually have Akhenaten's DNA, and Freeman gets into that, but I really see it, in the picture, and then the scars on his head, how, Akhenaten was one of the long, elongated skulls, and how they did brain surgery and scrunched his head up so it looks normal. But yeah, I think he's their man, and he's gonna waiting for something like Planet X or something to come through, and then really start the total satanic New World Order under him.
What's wrong with Satan?
What was that?
What's wrong with Satan?
I'm not sure. I didn't hear. What do you mean?
What's right with Satan, Christopher?
Oh, yeah. What's wrong with
love?
Yeah,
What was that? Go ahead.
Is somebody saying what's wrong with Satan?
Yeah, that was Christopher of the Fleming family. I wanted to know what's right with Satan. Chris?
No, I was just asking the caller what like if he had a problem like with Satan and what it was. Like, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I think well, if it is a situation where like the Anunnaki are like a race of people that created us, and one thinks that we're an actual being that could evolve in a sense to where they are, and the other thinks that we're less than, like a mouse or something that like organically, naturally evolved. And I look at it like that, like light and dark, and the dark is trying to tempt us and corrupt us and make it clear that we're not worthy to evolve to a state of where the angels are, angelic beings or Anunnaki or whatever you would call the ascended. I don't know if they've been ascended because they're just like that.
Have you ever seen the movie Fight Club?
Yeah.
It's a cool movie. You should check that out. It's got a hidden meaning. Like, a lot of the movies that are in Hollywood, they put things out there, and they have other meanings. One of the major secrets of Masonry and the Hermetic Dawn and a lot of secret orders is you hear them talk about, if you've ever read a book called The Secret Teachings of All Ages by Manly P. Hall, he discusses a lot the great work. And the great work, I never really understood what it was until I started going to the Gnostic Mass. And the Gnostic Mass is a public Mass that's available to anyone, no matter where you are in the country. If you're hearing my voice, it could be, you could be in Michigan. But if you just Google OTO, the Ordo Templi Orientis, and you go to a Gnostic Mass, there's a bunch of people who used to be conspiracy theorists, or I don't know how they got there. But some way, somehow, they were trying to figure out the truth, and they ended up over there at the OTO. And that's like basically, you can go figure it out for yourself what the great work really is. But it's not some like evilist, baby eating. But I mean, we do believe in like blood sacrifice, and like when you were talking about with the guillotines, about how there's going to be bloodshed, like let blood flow to my name, trample on the heathen, be upon them. O warrior, I will give you their flesh to eat. So I mean, we do believe that there's going to be war. But like, it doesn't have to be our blood that's shed. It's just going to be like how like
the
Jews
Catholics
are going to be.
Even the Catholics. I mean, with the bread and the blood of Christ. I mean that seems pretty cannibalistic itself, right?
It is.
No, it's the same concept.
It's an effigy. Yeah.
It's the same concept where basically like one of the secrets of a lot of these orders is that like sex magic, right? That's like what everyone uses. Like one of the easiest kinds of magic you can do, which would be between a male and a female, and then the creation of, their will. So when you want a baby and she wants a baby, then you just create this. This is like your guys' will and the will of God, their will uniting with the will of the Father, and then asking for the blessing of this miracle to happen. And it is a miracle. I mean, who's going to look and say the baby's birth is a miracle? So we would all recognize and say, hey, like each one of us is a man or a magician or, like a way at Sharia, you could say. Ultimately, when we're doing these, like, sex acts.
We got a question from the chat room, Christopher Fleming family from Billy Madison. What about Aleister Crowley, Chris? Do thou whilst.
Do what thou wilt.
Do what thou wilt.
Like, 93 is short for, like, do what thou wilt, and that's, like, the Greek numerology. But basically, like, I'm not really supposed to discuss the law, like, because in that way it creates no indoctrination. So it won't be like ever like anyone came and, like, the law's been handed down throughout the ages. We had Levitican law, and there's 500 types of law where you have to wash your hands this way, and you have to do this, you can't eat cows, you can't eat anything that's hoofs, and then after that there's Mosaic law where the Ten Commandments were given, and then we went out of the age of Taurus, which would be, we went into the age of what was the Levitican law, the age of Taurus, we went into the age of the Ram, and you still have the Jews blowing the ram's horn to this day. You're still waiting for Messiah. And we went out of that age, we went into the age of the Pisces. Okay, slow down. So we went into the age of Pisces. Then out of the age of Pisces, they asked Jesus, when will the last Passover be? And he said, I will be with you until the end of the age. When you come to a town and find there a man bearing a pitcher of water, come within and reside with his house in with thee. So basically, what I believe and I've interpreted from, there's Masonic Bibles out there. There's a lot of, a lot of this stuff is, like I said, it's all public knowledge. Just that most of the people who are, in members of these secret societies, everyone's afraid of, it's trying to rule the world. Just that they can't talk about it because they're sworn oaths. But a lot of this stuff is public knowledge. If you guys really want to know, you'd know. You just like to just listen and be told and spoon-fed things. And I
hey,
really
man,
don't
Jerry
talk about.
Springer's on, We got American Gladiators and Springer and the Ellen Show. So it's American Idol's coming, too, right after. So, yeah, that's how we roll.
Well,
Basically, I don't answer the question, what do I think do what thou wilt means. For me, a lot of that stuff is on my YouTube video. I have a video on there called The Whole Truth and Half Lies about 666 and the Freemasons and Illuminati. But that's like my personal belief and my interpretation of what the law means to me. But I'm not really supposed to tell anyone what the law means to you. So do what thou wilt means your will is united with the Father's will. And that's what it means for me. And that's what I'm doing, is I'm living my will, and that's what the movie Fight Club means to me. He's not fighting anyone but himself. That's what that is. That voice in your head is your holy guardian angel, and that's the secret of all orders.
Steve, go for it. What you got? Sorry, Chris.
That's all right. No. It's absolutely. What was I going to say? I had a thought and I lost.
Timing's off. What's new? That's Murphy's Law always working through me. So, yeah, you guys have beliefs, and Murphy believes in rectify. We got about 5 minutes left. Chris, you want to go ahead and plug your site again? And then, Steve, you got your thought back?
Yeah. I got my thought back because, I'm somebody who's also got very interesting belief systems in and of myself. And, one of the things that I like to consistently reiterate to people is, when it comes to the concept of Satan, it's just like, Satan is a different thing to different people. And, and the root of our thoughts, our belief in Satan comes from, from the paralleling him to the serpent in the Garden of Eden. And when you really break down exactly what they're telling you in that book is that, Satan's battle for telling man how to have his own power.
Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. You've been listening to The Gray Zone at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. Thank you, Steve Travesty, Christopher of the Fleming family, Brian Redshifty, and of Jared. And we'll see you again next week. Everybody have a great week. Bye.
Radio at freedomslips.com. We'll be right back after this message.